Do, 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 do. What is minutes now streaming? One, two, log out of this one. What's going on, everybody? How in the air? All right. Let's see. Sign in again. Next. How is everybody doing tonight? Sorry, I'm just getting my YouTube live, and my YouTube might actually be working. Possibly, maybe. Maybe. Says we're live, so live on YouTube. All right, looks like we're good. Sweet. All right, everybody, welcome back for another Wednesday live, the usual lives that I've been doing pretty much every Wednesday. We always start them off with a little bit of a lecture and rundown on kind of a particular topic that is something that comes up quite frequently, or what have you. And so today we are going to chit and chat about the calories in versus calories out idea. Is that all that it is? Is that everything that we know? Is that the key to losing weight? And really, I mean, the answer to this one is really, really super easy, is that calories in, calories out. That's the foundation of being able to lose weight. That is the foundation of energy balance, of thermodynamics, and how our body intakes fuel, burns fuel, and that sort of thing. So if the calories that you are consuming, the calories that are going in, are equal to the calories that your body is burning throughout the day, you are going to stay weight stable. Your weight's going to be at maintenance level. If the calories that are going in are greater than the calories that your body is burning through the day, you're going to gain weight. And then if your calories that are going in are less than the calories that are going out, you are going to lose weight. That is the foundational piece that needs to happen. If you are not achieving a calorie deficit on a consistent basis, the weight's not going to come off. Plain and simple. So the big thing that kind of, I think, gets oversimplified is that while, yes, it's simple enough, just get your calories down, no big deal, or burn more calories than what you're consuming. Seems simple, quick, easy. I don't know what the problem is, but the reality comes down to the things that ultimately affect really our calories that are going in. So when we think about kind of our environment that's around us, and in particular with our modern society now, and compared to say 30,000 years ago, you know, we're not hunting and gathering, we're not going out into the fields and farming, we're not butchering and producing all of our own food. Basically, everything that is around us today is now super easy, super convenient. Like you can go pick up groceries and go to the grocery store, and you don't even need to get out of your car. They just bring them out and throw them in your trunk for you. Even then, you can just get like things like HelloFresh or Chef's Plate or whatever delivered to your home, and then you have all the ingredients, you make the meal, or you have meal prep services that cook your food, you know, beginning to end, and say, here you go. So everything's been hyper convenienced. Further, we live in cities that are not conducive to walking in them. And even if you do like live, say, in a downtown core like I do, so I live in downtown Calgary, Alberta, super walkable to everything, a couple of blocks to get groceries, a couple of blocks to my gym. Like I can walk everywhere that I need to go, but it costs a ridiculous amount of money to live down here. Thankfully, I got in when rental rates are not super, super stupid crazy or anything. So I'm doing okay, but when my whatever is up, then it's going to be a different story. So there's a lot of things that are ultimately going to affect that. Further, there's a bunch of processed foods in our environment that are designed to get you to eat as much as possible. And they are jam-packed with sugar, fat, salt, all the beautiful and wonderful things that make food taste delicious and amazing. And ultimately, they make it very, very challenging to eat in a calorie deficit, especially if you're, say, kind of having some processed food and some whole foods, if you're going out for meals and that sort of thing. Restaurant meals, actually, you know what, fast food joints, when you look at their, like, say, calorie breakdowns on their menus and stuff, places like McDonald's are probably going to be more accurate than, say, I don't know, your local Cactus Club or Sharks Club or something like that. Because at McDonald's, they pre-measure everything and ultimately keep it all at a certain designated amount and stuff like that. So it's definitely a challenging aspect, and your calories in and calories out and stuff like that, it's going to be hard to mitigate and manage that. So lots of different things are going to be affecting it. But in terms of kind of the major things that people will present and say are altering that calories in versus calories out idea, things like insulin resistance. People will say it's harder to lose weight when you have insulin resistance. That's just not true. In fact, there's some studies that show people who have insulin resistance can actually lose more weight than individuals that don't have insulin resistance. PCOS is an interesting one. It doesn't affect your metabolism and how many calories you burn or anything like that, but it can increase your cravings and drive for, say, carbohydrates and high sugar foods and stuff, due to some of the hormonal abnormalities that go on there. And so that's ultimately just going to push you to want to consume more food. So it's going to increase how many calories you're putting into the system. And it might be more calories than what you, say, thought you were eating or what have you, but it doesn't affect your metabolic rate or anything. Menopause, same thing. We actually have some pretty good evidence to show that metabolic rate really doesn't fall all that much as we get older. Yes, there are some hormonal changes and that sort of thing, which may definitely affect like estrogen levels and that sort of thing. And so those are going to be things that, differences in your estrogen levels can certainly affect your appetite, progesterone levels decreasing, all various things that might have an effect on your overall cravings and wanting of food and stuff like that, but not affecting your metabolic rate in any kind of way. So lots of different things in that respect. And kind of the really classic example of, this calories in versus calories out kind of idea works is looking at the perspective of when people use these medications such as Ozempic, Saxenda, Contrave, or what have you. What ends up happening is they'll often say, well, I tried everything, and then I went on Ozempic, I went on Saxenda, and then I was able to lose weight. So the drug, fixed my metabolism or something like that. And the thing is that these drugs don't do anything special in terms of metabolic rate. It doesn't affect our metabolic rate whatsoever. It just makes it easier to get our calories in to a lower level on a consistent basis, so that when it's lower than what we're burning, we're ultimately going to lose weight. So they just kill your hunger, so you eat less. They don't affect your metabolic rate. And so the individuals that were in that situation where they tried everything, they either A, weren't consistent enough with it on a day-to-day basis, they were too extreme, say Monday through Friday, and then binged on the weekend and way overate their calories and blew whatever calorie deficit they had going on. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on. Or they could have been slowly losing weight, but it wasn't quick enough for them, and so they came off, or they weren't tracking their calories and they actually weren't in a calorie deficit whatsoever. So foundationally, you need to be in a calorie deficit. So calories in versus calories out, that absolutely 100% needs to happen in order to lose weight. But there's a lot of things that go into that calories in component of things, and your ability to stay in that calorie deficit on a consistent basis in order to lose weight into the long term. So that's the dealio on calories in versus calories out. I see we've already got some questions kind of pouring in, and yeah, we'll take a little peekaboo. Ellie, hello, Dr. Dan. What's going on, Ellie? Zessie, would you rather watch a tree grow or watch a knee grow? Oh, that's a terrible. I hate people sometimes. Getting really annoyed with peeps these days. Anonymous, if I eat one fruit a day, let's say 1 kilogram on strawberries and 1 kilogram of kiwis, another I can't cut? What? I don't know what you're asking there. Yeah, no idea. Sailor Moon Freak, hi Dr. Dan, I am on Lexapro and gained weight. I tried Saxenda, it didn't help. How can I lose belly fat? The antidepressant makes me binge eat. So, I mean, there's a lot of different factors to look at it. There's certainly some evidence to show that some antidepressants can affect our appetite and kind of some of our carb cravings and that sort of thing. So really one of the big things when it comes to say binge eating or binging of any kind, the first thing that we want to always look at is getting an optimal dietary pattern through the day. So if you're say skipping breakfast, skipping lunch, intermittent fasting or whatever like that, don't do that. That is like the worst possible thing you can do if you struggle in any way with binge eating. You want to definitely be looking at spreading your calories over the day, cranking your protein way up, and eating consistently, keep more consistent small meals through the day. And that can ultimately have a huge effect in reducing your binging, your cravings, and that sort of thing, and can, in some cases, for a lot of people, actually correct their binging when they're eating and consuming enough calories. Because what happens for a lot of people is they don't eat anything all day long, or they eat very little while they're at work and stuff, and they're distracted and not thinking about food. And then at nighttime, their body suddenly says, cool, you're tired now. I'm starving because you haven't fed me all day. So I'm going to eat everything in sight. And then they binge and overeat and overconsume because they no longer have that ability to restrain because they're tired and wore out, and they've essentially starved themselves all day. So definitely looking at correcting that aspect of it. And yeah, kind of just working on the other components of, say, getting enough activity in and that sort of thing. And the Saxenda should help maybe in the background and just helping to mitigate your cravings and that sort too. So yeah, hopefully that kind of gives you some insight. Over on the YouTube, we've got Nacha on Ozempic for a year, lost 60 pounds, not hungry, but eat healthy proteins, fruits, and veggies. My question is, I eat less than 1200 per day. Can this F my metabolism long term? I'm really not hungry. So there's no evidence to show that any diet can F up your metabolism or break your metabolism in the long term. Definitely, if you're eating 1200 calories a day, you're not properly nourishing your body. And so what I usually recommend is slowly increasing your calorie intake. So a lot of people think, oh, my 1200 and my maintenance level of calories should be like 2000 calories a day. And so I'm going to go from 1200 to 2000 calories a day. Well, that's really not going to work. That's 800 more calories. And that's going to be really problematic for you in terms of trying to get that food in, especially if you're not hungry and you're on the medication. So start slow. Start with, getting 1250 in consistently, and then 1300, and then 1400, and slowly increase, adding in the protein. If you can, getting in the gym, starting to do resistance training, weightlifting, and that sort of thing, building muscle tissue. You're actually in a prime spot at that point to really pack on some good quality lean muscle tissue that can ultimately really help in the long term of helping you to maintain your weight, but also just improve overall health and stuff like that. So that's kind of what I would look at there. your metabolic rate can certainly slow down a little bit, but it wouldn't be broken, and it'll correct itself when you get up to your proper intake of food. Excuse me. Uh, Lily, oh, I've gained a few pounds on Lexapro. Despite my opinion, I'm eating the same. So, yeah, it like I said, it does have the evidence for potentially showing it can affect your cravings and stuff like that. So even on a subconscious level and not being fully aware of it, we certainly might eat more food or just scoop a little bit more on. And maybe it doesn't happen, like it's not happening on a week, you're gaining a couple of pounds. It's a slow, gradual trend upwards. That's kind of happening in that respect of things for a lot of people. So again, kind of looking at doing some tracking, seeing where you're at, and capturing the weekends and the full picture of it. And yeah, kind of taking it from there, seeing how things ultimately go. Nursing for you too. My husband is having significant side effects from Ozempic. He's been on 0.5 for about 5 months. So yeah, I mean, it varies person to person. At that point, I would hope that the side effects would be gone, or at least significantly reduced. If they're not, yeah, it might be looking at a different medication, coming off the medication, reducing the dose, something like that. I know a lot of people, don't want to come off because it maybe is helping them in some ways, but I mean, if you're having side effects, you're nauseous all the time and maybe even vomiting or something like that, is that a life you really want to live, right? Is that going to be beneficial for you? Like, yeah, I personally, I would hate that. And no amount of weight loss is honestly worth it for me. So I would be looking at what we could do in terms of other medications, dose adjustments, and that sort of thing. Dr. Dan, what do you think of using dragon fruit as a laxative while I'm on these meds? Dragon fruit isn't super great if you want like a really good laxative. Pears and pear juice in particular. Same thing with like prunes and prune juice. But pears, especially if it's like got the pulp from the pear and stuff like that still in it, that will make sure you stay good and regular, maybe too good sometimes kind of thing. So those are kind of the better options to kind of keep things moving along versus say dragon fruit and stuff like that. Nursing for you too. We recently went up to 0.75 and he has been plus vomiting and diarrhea. What do you think regarding split? So I think you're asking like, would you split the dose? So you do have it there regarding split dose. Yeah, if he's getting that kind of side effects on it, I mean, he's still going to have a high concentration of the drug hanging out in the system. And if at 0.5, he's still having side effects, I wouldn't be trying to move the dose up. I would be looking to maybe even move the dose down and holding out and hanging out there. And then just working with that. And I mean, if he's getting things like nausea and stuff and not feeling like eating, the drugs, hopefully the side effects will reduce and stuff like that, but it's probably helping with the appetite reduction component of things. And then, yeah, just looking at optimizing dietary patterns, getting plenty of protein, seeing where his calorie intake is at. And if weight loss is the goal, putting him in a calorie deficit. If we're looking at blood sugar management, certainly weight loss could still be beneficial. But yeah, there's lots of other things to kind of look at and consider. User 941 noticed when you eat eggs at lunch, hardly ever get hungry after supper. Boom. So if you eat good amounts of protein during the day, you can greatly reduce your cravings later at night. For some reason, people, I don't know if it's like aversions to protein. I know there's definitely a cost aspect. And yeah, protein's not always as good as say more carby based things, but getting more food and particularly protein in earlier in the day is going to be like hugely beneficial. And and yeah, can really curb appetite later in the evening to the point where you're like, I have zero desire to eat kind of thing, where you eat your dinner and you're good. Or maybe it's like a snack, but it's a more mindful snack of like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have some, my favorite thing is like I mix together some Greek yogurt. I add some like kind of like source yogurt, like it's 0% milk fat or whatever. And then I add in like maybe some oats or granola, might add some cottage cheese and maybe some grapes or something. And it's kind of like a nice sweet snack before I go to bed, but it's high protein, has a lot of what's called casein protein in it. So for me and my goals and stuff, that gives me a lot of protein and amino acids overnight. And yeah, keep me full-ish, at least until morning, but I still wake up every morning starving. So it is what it is. But yeah, having more proteins earlier in the day, eggs at lunch, chicken at lunch, whatever it is, huge benefit. Lily D, I don't know how anyone could eat 1,200 calories a day. Yeah, most people can't. And I would say a lot of people who do say they are eating 1,200 calories a day might do it a couple of days out of the week. And then ultimately they're rebounding and binging on, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or something like that, or Sunday. And then they go back to the 1,200 and they start the whole cycle over again. It's not sustainable unless you're like 100 pounds and like 5 foot nothing kind of thing. That's when maybe it is. But even then, if we start looking at increasing activity and getting, 10,000 steps in a day, you're going to need more food and more calories because you're just going to be more hungry. So yeah, definitely highly recommend they eat that. But most people who say they can't lose weight on 1,200 calories, either A, they can't consistently do it enough because nobody can, or they're doing it for a couple of days and then binging on the other days when they eventually say, screw this, I can't do it. Life with Liz. What's up, Liz? Thanks for joining. Lily D, try to focus though, and I'm okay with being a few pounds more. Awesome. Yeah. And I mean, that's kind of the biggest thing is that you also got to take a look at like sometimes medications like antidepressants might cause us to gain weight, but ultimately we're in a better mental capacity and space. And so our lives and just your day-to-day mood and stuff feels a heck of a lot better. And I mean, in my opinion, that's what life's all about, is feeling good and enjoying life and stuff. And a couple of pounds gained from an antidepressant or that trade-off, totally. Like if you're enjoying life and you're more happy, then that's really what it's at. If you're still stressed out and worried about your weight and stuff like that, then there might be some deeper issues and stuff that we need to take a look at and kind of unpack a little bit. LED, as Dan is saying, could try Contrave, definitely an options. Lily D, hummus and cheese and crackers for my lunch today. Yum, yum. Awesome. Yes, got some protein going on there, a little bit of carbs. I like it. Infinity Art Creations. Sheila, best thing for constipation on Saxenda. Well, we just talked about the more natural options. Pear juice, pears, prune juice, prunes. Both of those pretty wicked, pretty awesome. But if you're looking at more consistency, definitely want to look at your fiber intake would be a big thing. So whether that's Metamucil or something like that, that can be hugely beneficial on a consistent basis. Restorelax or PEG 3350 would be my next step up. Definitely want to kind of be monitored if you're using it for long-term or anything like that. And then if you need kind of the big guns, I mean, if you want to get cleared out quick, glycerin suppositories or an enema will get you going right now, or looking at things like bisacodyl, Senecot, and that sort of thing. But follow up with your pharmacist, your doctor. But for kind of background and just managing it on day to day, definitely looking at the higher fiber options and stuff like that. Brandon Thorpe 86. Why do my sugars go up at 040, 430 every day? I'm assuming you're talking about like 4:30 in the morning. So what's happening in that regard, and happens with everybody, that as your body starts to get ready to wake up for the day, or when your body starts saying, hey, it's time to get up, what our body does is it dumps cortisol into the bloodstream. Cortisol is kind of like our waking hormone, if you will. And ultimately what that does is it goes to all the various systems and stuff in our body, starts waking them up. And part of that is increasing our blood sugar levels, because it's saying to the body, to the liver, hey, we're going to need some energy. We're about to get up and go walk around and do whatever it is that we do on a day to day. So we're going to need that sugar. So can you punch out some sugar and get things going? Because the human, the body is about to stand up and walk around and stuff. So it's the dawn phenomenon, I believe they call it. It doesn't happen, I guess, doesn't necessarily show on readings for everybody, but typically individuals that have, say, insulin resistance or something like that, they might see a small spike as they're getting up in the morning, then they have breakfast, and it kind of continues up until it comes back down post meal and stuff like that. So it's normal. It's your body just waking up and kind of doing its thing, going from there. Is there any truth to the idea that low calorie 1200 puts your body into starvation mode? No, there is absolutely no truth to that whatsoever. Starvation mode is a myth. A really, really great example, you can read up on it and just type it into Wikipedia or Dr. Google. It's called the Minnesota Starvation Experiments. And basically what they did is they had a group of, I think they were, I can't remember what they're called when they don't want to go to war or whatever like that. They're something. Anyways, they were all the people that, for ethical reasons, they didn't want to go to war during World War II and stuff. And so they were held at the college campuses and going to school and that sort of thing. Objectors, I think it is. Yeah, maybe. Anyways, so, and they put these guys on a continuous calorie deficit and mitigated and controlled how much food they were eating, and basically they withered away to almost nothing. They continued to lose weight as long as they were in that calorie deficit. If they weren't in the calorie deficit, their weight either stayed the same because they were at their maintenance level of it, or they would start gaining weight because they were eating more calories than what their body was burning. But as long as they were in a continuous calorie deficit, they kept on losing. Now, as we lose weight, our body can metabolically adapt. So if we look at, your weight right now, we want to get to this weight over here, and we calculate out, okay, you should be able to eat this amount of calories every day, and this is about the time it would take you to get to a given weight. That calculation, what actually happens is different than what we calculate. And that's because your body metabolically adapts. And so it actually will do things like have you move and twitch less. Like I would do less hand movement stuff, less tapping of my foot. I would be lazier and not want to get up and that sort of thing, spend more time sleeping. So your body would learn to kind of conserve energy in a number of different ways. And it can also reduce your metabolic rate, or how much calories your body burns by just existing a little bit. And all of those things combined slowly your metabolic rate down. So you burn fewer calories than what you usually, or what you'd be predicted to be burning. But you can still lose weight as long as you get under that calorie amount. So 1200 calories is going to be under that calorie amount for like 85% of people. So that's kind of essentially it's a myth. So if you were at 1200 calories and consistently at it Monday through Sunday, every single day, 7 days a week, you would continue to lose weight. The reason why people don't lose weight or say they're in starvation mode and they're gaining weight is because, again, they do 1200 calories Monday through Friday, and then binge and rebound Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then they start back on the diet and go again, kind of thing. So yeah, hopefully that gives you some perspectives. And Jenny of Coldstone, they are called conscientious objectors. Yes, that's the word I was looking for. I knew it had objectors in there, and we got the rest of it. So thank you. What are the reasons your weight doesn't budge no matter how hard you try? So if your weight's not budging, you're not in a calorie deficit, at least not consistently enough. So like we were kind of talking about, calories in versus calories out. Your calories in must be less than your calories that are going out consistently, right? That needs to happen. If that's not occurring, you're just not going to lose weight. And so people will say that their weight is not budging, and it could be the thing of, like I said, where they're restricting Monday through Friday, then they binge Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It could be the fact that they're overeating or not counting their calories properly, or not counting at all is often an aspect a lot of people don't realize, or they're kind of guesstimating versus like measuring and that sort of thing. Humans suck at estimating everything, like distances, how much food's on your plate, all of those sorts of things. Like we're just awful at all of it. So if it's not budging, it's just that you're not in a calorie deficit consistently enough. And so kind of going back to the drawing board and looking at where things are at and where you're kind of going wrong. If you're not tracking will definitely clear that up for you. But tracking everything that's going in, even the things that you didn't think were an issue or whatever, and measuring your food and stuff will kind of give you a bit more perspective as to what your portion sizes should be and such. And yeah, that's kind of that. Holy Toledo. All right. User 941 lost 88 pounds November 22nd, walk at least 10,000 steps a day, 14 calories a day, or 1,400 calories a day. 88 pounds since November 2022. So 88 pounds in what? We're in April, almost May now. So we're almost at start of 5. So 4 months plus 2, 6 months, 88 pounds. All right. That's a hefty amount of weight. I mean, kudos to you. Good on you. You're walking, fantastic. The next big thing I'd be looking to add in would be weightlifting, resistance training. That is going to help you tenfold, especially to maintain the weight long term. Hugely, hugely beneficial. Plus being stronger, all that kind of stuff, more muscle mass. And then, yeah, kind of looking at maybe bringing your calories up to your maintenance level if you're at your goal weight or whatever, and going from there. So funny thing, my eyelashes are growing with Wegovy. Interesting. The only drug that I know of, it's called Latisse, some kind of eye drop that causes your eyelid or your eyelashes to grow. I do not know of Wegovy causing eyelash growth, so that would be a new one for me. But yeah. Lily D, could be some emoji if sugars dip earlier. Potentially, there's some, so back to kind of like why blood sugars rise when we first get up in the morning. So the dawn phenomenon and the other effect that we sometimes see in the night is what they call the emoji effect. There's a little bit of debate around this emoji effect and how real it is, I guess you could say, or whether it is of concern. Yeah, I mean, looking at kind of the clinical trials and data and stuff, and if we're able to correlate it, and there's a couple of things around it. I can't exactly remember what the evidence says, but there's some question as to whether it does actually happen. And, we have to tease out, is this patient on insulin and they just overdosed a bit on insulin before they went to bed? Yeah, a couple other things like that, but wouldn't rule it out as a possibility, but would have to see kind of the broader picture of the sugar levels and stuff like that. So, wow, look at my moderator. She's like blocking everybody. Love it. Virginia, expect me. I tried stress, pain, yo-yo dieting. I'm trying. And trying is like all that we ultimately can do. I mean, showing up every day and taking on the challenges and stuff like that it's what life is all about. And it's more looking, I mean, everyone wishes for an easy life, but no one would actually be happy if life was easy, because if things were easy, we would never be fulfilled. We'd never have things that we're overcoming and challenging and stuff like that. And it wouldn't be this utopia that we all seem to want and stuff like that. Yeah, it wouldn't be a very good life. I mean, if anything, things are getting too easy and too good these days, and people are like searching for things to be upset and mad about because life is too good. So, but keep trying, keep going. It's all we can do. Shelly, what's your thoughts on metformin for weight loss? It's not super great. I mean, I don't actively put people on it to help them lose weight by any means. People who are on other medications that are causing weight gain, so like antidepressants, antipsychotic medications, can cause weight gain, and it might be a drug to kind of help counteract some of that. But overall, I mean, it's not a heavy hitter or anything like that. And it's more, I'd be treating something like diabetes first, and then maybe getting some weight loss benefits on top of it, just for kicks kind of thing. Zalanta, that is what it is. Thank God I've got another pharmacist on here. June Mary, ugh, the audio on your TikTok stream is too low. I think you were here last week, June Mary. I haven't had a problem from anybody else, so I might suggest turning up the volume on your phone or what have you there. Ozempic made me so sick. Definitely can for some peeps. If you don't have an answer, maybe you should stop asking. Eyelashes growing could be because of an increase in protein. Eyelashes growing could be an increase of protein. Yes and no. Eyelashes tend to have kind of like, they only grow to generally a certain length, or grow very, very slowly for the most part. Growing more if they were at a short level, certainly if they were getting enough protein and stuff like that in. Not out of the realm of possibilities, but certainly could be. Joe made me have terrible diarrhea and these weird burp farts. I've never heard burp farts before. You mean like burps and farts? But yeah, GI side effects are certainly something that can happen with the GLP-1 receptor agonists. Hopefully it'll resolve. It doesn't for everybody, but there are other options and stuff like that that we can look at to help you mitigate weight and everything. I'm 60, maybe Ozempic is not able to work because I am too old. At Joe, thank you so much for your info. So nice to come on here. My pleasure. Awesome. Things are sounding good. Sweet. Cool beans, everybody. Yeah, that seems to be all the questions, all the lowdowns for tonight. So we are back next week, next Wednesday. If you happen to be in the Calgary area, I need to do a story and everything like that on this and update people, but I've opened up a pharmacy clinic here in the city. So if you're in Calgary, you can definitely reach out to me and get booked in to come and see me. I'm taking new patients and new clients starting next week. So feel free to drop me a line if you're in the Calgary area, and we can see if we can connect you up. The pharmacy is Apothecare RX Pharmacy. You can look it up. I just confirmed everything Google-wise, which has been the absolute bane of my existence, but we did it. We got it. So we are up and running and officially open, and I'll have more updates coming soon. But I am going to run the first pharmacist-run obesity clinic out of there, and it might be the first one in the world. So super, super excited. But yeah, I will keep everybody posted and stuff. And thank you for all of the congrats and everything. I really, truly appreciate it. And yeah, that's kind of that. But we'll be back next week. I have no idea what we're doing. We're talking about Kit Kat. Do you take patients from Ontario? So I don't take patients in Ontario, but I do see clients and can help people with lifestyle management and that sort of thing. So if your doctor is, say, prescribing medications and stuff, yeah, I do take clients. that is fee for service outside of the province and even within the province for kind of more intensive lifestyle management and stuff. And yeah, so you can reach out to me, check out my website, healthyvolve.co, and check out my Instagram at the official Dr. Dan, where all of my day-to-day updates are coming and stuff like that. And yeah, we'll be back next Wednesday, you beautiful people. So thanks for coming on. Thanks for the questions, and we'll see you then.